headlock to being a better man.
All right, name Rama.
J.R. Cardoza, 49, glass. Why is a shield lock vital for him that does not have one? Well, we all go through the flux. We have the peaks and the valleys, and without men that are there shoulder to shoulder with us, we sometimes can't get ourselves out of that hole. And having somebody that's there that may be in that peak, they can reach down and help pull us out of that situation that we're in. So it's vital that we have. I've been in a couple shield locks now, and it is super vital to giving me that consistency of life. There's so many things that happen throughout my day. I plan what's going to happen, and life comes at me hard. But my shield lock's always there. They're always there for me. They're consistent. They're reliable. It helps me unload my weight and at the same time pour into somebody else, and that reinvigorates me to kind of get back after life. So it's kind of like my baseline throughout my day.
Anything else you would say to somebody that's not in a shield lock?
I'd say get into one. It's I won't lie. It was difficult to find the right group. It takes time. It's not something that comes easily to a lot of men to go out and seek new friendships, but it's worthwhile. It's worth the investment.
Welcome to Why a Shield Lock is Important, and with me I have Red Light. And Red Light, why don't you give us a name, Rama?
Yeah, I'm Richard Mullis, 55, Red Light.
I want to kind of get your background and why you think a shield lock is important.
Background real quick, I'm a doctor of clinical psychology, been a professor for about 32 years at Biola University, most recently William Jessup. I teach courses on abnormal psychology, mental health issues, couples issues.
Are you currently in a shield lock?
I am currently in a shield lock. I have previously been in 2 other shield locks. Close to 25 or 20% of the population struggles with anxiety, with depression.
Yeah.
And then there are various things that we do to medicate anxiety and depression. So, when men are more isolated, you're going to see those numbers go up.
Yeah. So previously you have said that one of the key aspects to a successful shield lock is vulnerability. Can you expand on that?
Yeah. Vulnerability is probably the secret ingredient. But vulnerability, if you're getting together with guys and you're not being vulnerable, I challenge you to consider whether or not that's like rearranging furniture on the Titanic. But if guys are not opening their hearts, being more vulnerable about things they're going through, as well as goals that they're shooting for, obstacles that are getting in the way of those goals, then what are we doing? We're not going to help men with some of those issues that I mentioned before if men aren't vulnerable to talk about what those things are when they're struggling with depression. If men aren't able to talk about that in a vulnerable way where it feels safe, then men will just hide. And the typical response in psychology is when we have pain, nobody likes pain. Nobody wakes up in the morning and says, "Oh, I can't wait to just feel more pain today." Emotional, psychological pain we usually avoid. We push it away, we medicate it, we push it down. I send the pain below. That's human life right there, human nature 101. We avoid pain. So what do we do then to cope with it? Well, we isolate, we numb out, we get addicted to substances, drugs or alcohol. We get addicted to processes, so gaming, gambling, just online games or pornography. Those are like process addictions. We do any of a number of things to try to give ourselves a little hit of dopamine, a little sense of pleasure, but in a really defensive sort of way. If we're not helping men to bring themselves to a safe group of other guys where they could actually feel safe to talk about whatever's going on. In F3, we talk about the flux a lot, right? Everybody is going to have the flux. If you don't think you're headed towards flux, you're delusional. Is that vulnerability begets more vulnerability.
Right.
And so you want to practice sharing at the level that you want to hear from other guys.
Okay.
And we can't build Rome in a day, and a 5-minute thing at the end of a workout, a circle of trust, is probably not enough time. And for a lot of guys, they need a lot of coaxing to kind of go deeper.
Sure.
But a shield lock is a perfect place to work on that.
Yeah.
And trust me when I say it'll transform your friendships, it'll transform your marriages. To raise healthy kids and work on having a lifelong, deep relationship with them, you being able to be vulnerable in appropriate ways and seek their hearts, and like, this is just gold for human life. And so I can't say enough about it.
How important is having that relationship and the vulnerability before the flux or the gestures and all that stuff comes for you?
I think it's huge. I think you're totally right, Alice. When the flux hits and you don't already have a group, well, then you've got 2 fluxes.
Yeah.
That you're alone and whatever else happened in the world. So that's one way that we can prepare. We're not just training our bodies, we're training our minds, our bodies, our hearts, our souls. And so when those hard things happen, and they are going to happen, man, having a group of people that you can go with it through. If you don't prepare for hard things, then you're going to be kind of left out.
It's going to be twice as hard.
Yeah, it'll be twice as hard.
Is there any do's or don'ts that you would recommend or suggest to the guys that are in a shield lock or looking to start one?
Yeah, so a couple of don'ts. Don't try to fix guys when they start to share. Most guys already have many thoughts, ideas about what they need to do. They're sharing it with you because they aren't able to do it. And so if you start trying to fix them and advice give, you're probably going to alienate them. They probably will feel some shame. So better to ask open-ended questions. Then practicing little things like just being empathic, give care. You try to give, again, not advice giving, but like containment. When somebody's going through a hard time, that's not when they want a bunch of words and advice. That's the time when they need you to hug them and hold
Just be
them.
heard.
Yeah. So in shield lock, we may not be hugging all the time, but
Right.
but you can literally hold a guy with your ears and your attention, and showing him that you care and you're there, and you get it to some degree, and you want to get it more. Like, that will mean the world. Most guys are not going to respond well to intense, like forcing them to share. That's probably not going to go well.
Right.
But I would screen for that on the front end. When I'm starting a shield lock, I would let guys know, hey, I want to be in a shield lock. I'd like to invite you to it, and here's what it's going to involve.
Yeah. Okay.
Vulnerability, talking about our goals, working through personal issues. It's when the hard stuff comes. Some of it we can predict, whether health issues, job issues, death of loved ones, hard things in family life. So some things we can prepare for, and we try to prepare for the flux in F3. And then some things are just maybe beyond preparation, and we need to make sure that we have a good group of people to face those things with. But if you're not connecting in a more vulnerable way, again, think about that with your marriage. If you're a married guy, how rich of a relationship is that going to be if there's no vulnerability?
Right.
If you can't really talk and say what's going on, if she can't share her heart with you, or feels like you're a stone mountain to her. Vulnerability, we can practice this as men together, and it's going to help us with our own health. But the other side effect of that is vulnerability is really key. Just marital satisfaction. Children want to feel close and emotionally close, and you be vulnerable with them in appropriate ways, and they hate to be vulnerable with you. It translates into everything. And so it's one of the sweet sauces, I think, of F3 is that we really promote. Shield lock is it's thousands of years old. Men have been gathering together for various reasons and purposes for literally as long as we've been on the planet. And we live in America, an amazing country, so proud to be an American, but we promote individualism in America, which isolates men. We set certain standards and norms for men that they shouldn't be vulnerable, that they shouldn't talk, and they get worse. They get drunk, they use drugs, they have all sorts of relational problems. And that's why I'm saying this, both as a friend and a colleague, but also as a professional, that it does not bode well for men's health, emotional, spiritual, relational, and psychological, to not be more deeply connected to other men.
When you're talking about vulnerability, modern society now of being vulnerable, it's a really hard thing to do. So what is vulnerability, and how can we just take that first step in that?
Yeah, sometimes it happens better initially one-on-one, or in as a friend. Hey, let's grab a coffee. Love to connect with you. Love to get to know you better. As you're maybe thinking about screening somebody to see if you want to be in a shield lock with them. But as men, our hearts are like onions, and vulnerability is when we slowly start to unveil and reveal more of who you are and what you're about. And that could be your goals and aspirations, but also it's the hard stuff.
Yeah.
And a mission to be better in the community and help others and serve others.
Thank you, Red Light. Is there any last things you want to share regarding why a shield lock is important?
It's life-changing, and it takes time to build, but it's part of what makes for a meaningful life. Also with brothers that you share and partner in the battles that we're all facing. So,
Derek Samples, 41 Milkman.
How long have you been in F3?
A little over a year and a half. Yeah.
Are you in a shield lock?
I am.
How long have you been in a shield lock?
Pretty close to a year.
And why has the shield lock been important to you?
Shield lock has been a great outlet for me to really connect with some guys that I probably wouldn't normally have connected with. And being in the gloom every day and meeting these guys, you build this deeper bond, a stronger relationship. And I've never actually had that. I had childhood friends growing up, going through school, but never really had that same type of a deep relationship that I have with these guys. So for me, shield lock has been incredibly important.
What would you say to guys that aren't in a shield lock?
Well, if you're lacking that relationship, if you feel like you're somewhat alone, or you don't have somebody that you can talk to, or to bounce ideas off with, or to hold you accountable, that's why you should get in the shield lock.
Guys, welcome to the end of part 2, The Why. Hope you enjoyed some of the interviews from the packs and that sit down I got to have with Red Light. I want to emphasize the importance of the why of a shield lock, right? We got the gestures, and you've got the flux that we all go through, and maybe you don't even realize you have those things. And a lot of us, before we came to F3, we were the sad clown or the singleton. We were out doing stuff by ourselves, and we didn't even realize that we were sad, but our life just wasn't right. And so how vital it was for me personally to have a shield lock that is there, guys that have of virtue, right? We have the same kind of goals, and we're trying to go and accelerate in the same way. That was super vital for me, just to have a group of guys that we meet regularly, right? We just meet at one of the guys' house every week, and for a few hours we set that time aside. Anything that we're struggling with, we talk about that and share our experiences and just try to help each other through that. So it's a really vital thing to have, and there was a lot of great content coming from Red Light about that kind of stuff. So I really encourage you guys to absorb all that stuff on why a shield lock is important, because you can't do this alone, and you are better together. Your whole concentrica will really benefit if you can accelerate that third ring, that shield lock, right? That's the only reason I have one, right? It's to help me with my M and my shorties. Like, those are the most important relationships you have, and that third one is the shield lock. And so I would really encourage you guys to get into one and to think about it and to reach out if you have questions, because we can't do this alone. We are better together, and we all have struggles. We all go through the flux, right? The highs and lows of life. You need men to be around you, but you won't have that relationship when you need it if you haven't put in the work beforehand, right? So if there's something that you're struggling with now, or maybe you'll struggle with in the future, it's better to start that relationship now with guys here in F3 or in your region and in that gloom, and build that relationship and get into a shield lock and help you succeed and accelerate as a virtuous leader.
This is the lock. This is the vow. We don't break, we'll bow. Against the flux we fight, the constant shifting change.